Okay, welcome. This is Senate Committee on Institutions, and today is April 29th, and we will be probably not voting out, but talking about H50, which is an act relating to identifying underutilized state buildings and land.
Yeah.
And then after that, we will be discussing H494, which is our capital bill, which was just voted 7-0 by the Appropriations Committee to go out of committee. So we will be preparing for the floor as early as this Thursday. And we'll have some comments on that, and then we'll adjourn to do some work. Okay, so Commissioner Minoli, if you would like to start us out.
So good afternoon. It's so beautiful out there. I Wanda Minoli, Commissioner of Buildings and General Services. I grabbed the wrong file. And because I left a meeting to be here to discuss H50 with you. I do know when it was introduced and we talked about it. The committee, there's one particular line that you asked if we should include leased. It just said state owned land.
Can you pass it to the commissioner? I need it back because it's my only copy.
Okay. So
But it has my notes.
and yes, so H50 is passed by the House. We supported the amendments that were offered to the original bill and worked with the House on this. I think this is a reasonable request, and I think it is, we report, as I shared with you, we report all of our property, occupied, who it's occupied by, who owns it, where it's located by town, by county. We have a column in our space book, and we do this through statute in the space book that talks about our column says capacity, but it's really the number of desks and functionality there. This language is asking BGS to collect the information of property not under my jurisdiction. So, for example, property or buildings owned by the Agency of Transportation, or maybe property owned and managed by the Agency of Natural Resources. I don't have a concern, and we've discussed this, that we don't have a concern in collecting this information through and using the data that they have and blending that into our space book. And I've worked with Director Pembroke, for the record, who's here. And we have we used to do it, so we've come up with a very logical way of collecting that and making that a part of the overall inventory of the state. We don't have jurisdiction, but it would be information available to the legislature. It would have all of the property information in one place. One thing that this language, it's currently in statute under Title 29-165, Section E, only talks about inventory of all state-owned land. We actually collect and provide in the spaces that we lease, and we do that without being directed, but for just to make sure the language is reflective of what we do. We've considered adding lease, and we see no problem with that.
Okay, that's in the note, right?
And that's in your note,
Okay.
Madam Chair, on line 9.
Okay.
Would you like your notes back?
Sure. And then just a question. Thank you very much for being amenable to this. I'm thinking about getting a report that has BGS owned or state owned via BGS, and then A&R, and then VTrans in separate sections. And then I'm also thinking what would be helpful would be to have things organized by town.
We already do. So if you look at our current space,
Right. So
you can, and it's online. If you go to that, we have the same information collected, presented by town or by the State Department that is responsible for it. And then we have the property that's vacant and the square footage. We list the total amount of square footage that we occupy, gross and net, and how much land we have and where it is, because I think sometimes people say, well, we have this piece of property, but what you don't know is there may be a covenants on it, or maybe under some land management agreement, that type of information. And Eric, I'm turning to you because I know we have one other category that we do it by town. We do it by county, I think, or no, we do it by town, by district,
By agency.
and by agency already.
So those are searchable, right? Is that what you mean when you do it by the?
Yes, I mean, we actually have those sections are separate in the space book, so you can, depending on where you wanna go look. Lease space, you can go to that tab and it will show you everything that we lease. State owned, you'll go there. By town, you'll be able to see what properties are in your town and what information is there.
Okay. If somebody was looking for like 1,200 acres, could they search by size of the property? Or
No, it's a PDF, so it's a
it's a
PDF.
it's not.
I believe that's online,
It is.
but you still might be.
You can search PDF.
You can
So you
search.
Search by keyword,
Yeah,
yes.
but I think we have a section. Director, police corrector, commissioner, that is just land,
Yeah, which is.
but it's only land under our jurisdiction.
Correct,
Okay, so A&R would have a lot of that.
yes,
The
ARD.
agents too.
and our, yes.
Yes,
And I think Commissioner, I think we can actually, the most comprehensive list that I think we can pull is from risk management. Because they ensure everything that we have in our
The
portfolio.
insurance people always know.
so
That may be an avenue.
so I really appreciate that recommendation, because and we would obviously put it, so we don't burden another agency or another transportation, that we list it as inventory that we insure under those entities. And that's actually brilliant.
Great
I'll
idea.
give you brilliant for that
Wow.
one today.
I'll take it. It's not very
and-
often.
So. And it's what we do with the information after, and I think understanding where did it come from and what are we reporting on is really gonna be important. Madam Chair, I think I shared with this committee, we've been doing this, we've been collecting this information annually. Since the 70s, early 80s. And what's interesting is it's a very large report, and I don't think people, have really ever been that interested. And I think the environment's changing. We're looking at other opportunities, and it's a great bit of information, and we should start there instead of recreating.
Great.
So I
Sounds
appreciate
good.
you supporting.
Okay, so what we'll do, anybody else have questions or comments? What we'll do is modify the bill. We'll do a walkthrough. We haven't done a walkthrough yet. And then I presume you would like to see it before we.
Yes, I think, I think everything and yes, of course,
Yeah.
just to make sure if you change more than just adding lease, that it makes sense.
Right.
Cause
And
we're
then
not
we'll go from
creating,
there.
and what I appreciate, committee, is that you're not asking us to create something new. You're asking us to enhance in this language what we have,
Yes.
and that's so important.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is our plan. So that item is good for now. I would like you to stick around for a little bit. I just wanna, let you know what I heard from appropriations that would be relevant to your world next year.
I will be happy to stay here.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so, appropriations, we just went over the capital bill.
Would you like me to go back here?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Unless it's a
Would
legal thing. What did
Would you like me to leave or stay?
You can listen.
Educate me, I would love to listen.
Absolutely.
So we had a conversation about energy sources and, that's important. And, evidently there have been bills requiring this, but I think it makes sense. I intend to ask these questions now going forward. And we did talk about some of these things, but we need to just document them more, which is that when we're changing energy sources or, like a new boiler is the example. There were a couple of them and I didn't have, good information for Johnson, in my head. I know you did provide it, but I didn't have it in front of me. So we need to explain the energy efficiency of whatever the new system is. And then, as compared to what is existing. And then if you are not proposing renewable energy, then, explain why. And if it's because of a cost differential, let us know, give us the cost differential. So it's probably what you do anyway, you would just share it with us.
So so we will add that to our presentations as we go forward. I will tell you, we do have energy standards within our construction designs. We do actually bring in the renewable aspect. And we do a cost analysis on, so you're not asking for anything that we're not doing. We just need to ensure you're asking that in our future presentations, we put the energy piece up front.
That we document it, yes, yes,
Perfect.
and don't rely on me to have that piece of paper with me.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that absolutely. I mean, we put a lot of work and process.
I know you do.
Part of our bidding.
Yeah.
So we can give you an overview on it.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So now I'm gonna tell them other stuff, which you're allowed to say if you want, but.
Oh, thank you. You all have a great day.
So I just want to let you know about the questions that we got, and if I don't.
And you don't need anything on energy for further discussion on the floor.
It
You're
would-
all good.
honestly, it would be helpful to have Johnson and Newport. The college. There's, I
Yep.
hope that's you all, unless they're doing it separate.
So the Newport Correctional Facility. Joe may have some information on Johnson, because I know he consulted with Mike Stevens. So I will ask him on Johnson, on that piece. But Newport, we definitely do, and we may be able to organize and get you a little bit of information.
That would be terrific. And with Newport, my recollection was that we were using logs, but then we decided not to anymore.
Part of that is because it was a program that was run by corrections, and so I'll just get.
So,
the
yeah,
details.
okay,
Yeah.
that'd be great. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
Thank you.
Okay.
You too.
So appropriation. Talk to them about the cash versus the bonding, and we already talked in here about having the study done. So there has been questions about the 3-acre parcel stormwater. That's not till 27, so we have time. I want to figure out if the state-owned properties are eligible for the postponement that might happen on the 3-acre parcels. I don't know if you guys are following that, Bill. But I don't recall that they weren't specifically excluded, but I don't know. So I'm gonna find that out. The question. First page. The housing, they were okay leaving the housing in there, the 3 Bs.
Okay.
The,
By the way,
as far as the housing in Bennington and Brattleboro. They're both welcome.
But remember, the governor put it in. The Governor had a list,
Yep.
sent the list to,
And the House took it out.
well, yeah, but the governor had a list, right? And sent it to, DHCD, Housing and Community Development. And then they actually proposed these, so it wasn't any of us who proposed these.
No, but I'm saying it's in the district.
It is in my district, and I think it's a good thing, but
Yeah.
it's really
A-
important to me
as-
that there's not an implication that I. Work is. I know, sorry, it's, sometimes we take a one out of stuff.
No, I was, you know, the one thing and I'm curious about it, we need house. You know,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
you know.
and these are projects that are in process, so,
Yeah.
and.
So I guess, and we don't know, and it's a little off the beaten path, and I apologize, but why did the House take it out?
Because they were concerned, actually, that it would lead to towns or developers coming to us and asking directly for funding.
Okay.
But that's another
Exactly.
reason I try to emphasize that,
Exactly.
that this came from the governor through an agency to us.
But I mean.
It
there-
wasn't somebody in the hall.
Yeah, but that's gonna happen.
Why did they take it out? Because they wanted the money for elsewhere.
Well, they had,
I'm sorry.
okay.
Okay.
But it's back in for now.
It's back in till we pass.
Yep. And then there's the stuff that they put in, but they gave us money for it, so that was good. Oh, walleye. They asked about the walleye,
It's $25,000.
but they asked about the walleye. And evidently there's another fish organization that goes to Fish and Wildlife to get money.
That's one we did fund it last year at a cash, and that's the LCI tournament.
Oh,
And the
okay,
reason why
and
we
you know
did
what?
that is because of the economic impact for the area and what it did. So we did fund it last year with cash, 30,000, and I think they went directly to appropriations this month.
And yeah, and I didn't remember that we did fund
Yeah.
it, and I was getting confused because it's also Lake Champlain.
Yeah.
Okay,
Was that?
The LCI fishing tournament,
Okay.
they bring actually 50,000 people into the state. It's huge, it's huge.
Yeah.
And just, just.
They have the money this year. They will for it.
I think they went to appropriate.
No, they went to
They went
appropriation.
directly.
We've always got some money. And then
Okay.
last year we happened to do it through, because we had some extra money.
Right.
We happened to do it during the cash part of it, the cash fund part of it.
Did they get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know if they even came to us at all.
yeah, they did.
So what are you saying?
This year.
No, not this year.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
no,
so
no.
I-
They,
So we didn't say no, they just went around us anyway, but
So what are you saying about the wall of the house wants to take out the 25?
no, I'm just letting you know what I had questions about. From appropriations.
They asked if any other fishing people came and asked for other money, as we heard from others. Right. The answer was no, and then we started talking about the different. Or they said.
Yeah, and about the fish, and I mean, I'm impressed with.
It's an amazing, it's an amazing story.
Yeah.
And if you want to talk about economic impact to the area, it's an amazing story. It really, really is of what they do. And then when you start hearing from, you want to be first in the nation, sometimes it's not a great thing to be first in the nation. That one right there is a great first in the
But with
nation
walleye,
story. Because
Take it first.
you're doing things that nobody else has done.
Yeah.
Out of the small little state of Vermont.
And my understanding is other states are asking them and.
They try to coach them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Try to coach
Oh,
the
wow.
people.
Wow.
Fish coach.
no pun
Yeah.
intended.
Yeah. Under the cover of darkness.
Send the warden, or that could be delicious.
Actually, people do still fish,
I,
so,
and I'm.
no, go ahead,
Well,
what?
Did we ever get clarification on fire apparatus?
Yes, we did, or I did I not share it? I can share it. It's a really nice truck.
Oh.
That, to me, that's a really good price for that truck too. It's a brush truck for fighting fires.
Okay.
And they used a similar one because New Hampshire brought it and loaned it to us last year. And so they want to be able to fight fires. And I mean, only one for the whole state is pretty minimal too. And then the incubator farm, I talked about that a bit. It's just so cool. And dry hydrant. They sounded as if they had a dry hydrant, appropriation also, so we'll talk about that. And then we didn't really talk about the, allocations, just a little bit. All right, so, all right, so now. See if there's anything there. So I wanna talk about who's gonna do which.
Yeah, I want to
Areas
ask John as well, as far as, can we have the cheat sheets on that? Are you allowed to do that with us? Each section by section, a little
Oh,
bit
yeah.
cheat sheet.
Good afternoon, committee, Scott Moore, JFO. I'm happy to help you submit those, let me know what you're looking for, and I'll
Just actually what we've always usually done is that, we've gotten help, just, as we report the bill, that you just, section boom and just kind of give an outline of what it is. Section 2, outline what it is.
I think John has got a lot of that,
And maybe John is the one that would do
yeah,
that.
he's got it side by side.
Yeah,
I think. he-
so I think it would be John to do
Yeah,
that.
but I'll work with him and make sure that makes sense and.
That'd be great.
In the back of my head, excuse me, he was gonna present something to upstairs today.
Yeah,
I'll do some digging and see what I can find for it. Of
that'd be great.
course.
Okay, and then tomorrow we have H 458. Which is the Agency of Digital Services, which I hope we can complete on H 50, which is the other one, which one we talked about today. We still haven't had a walkthrough, so we have to do that officially. But I anticipate us finishing that this week, probably the end of the week.
Friday is the first time John can come in, so it'll be 1 o'clock
Oh,
Friday.
okay, so we'll probably get it.
When he'll walk you through.
Unless, if it's possible, we would vote it out Friday, but probably we'll vote it out Tuesday.
Friday, I'm gonna be gone at 3:30.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Just to let you be aware.
Okay. Okay, great. So, all right, so I think that's good for now. Any other schedule things? But
yeah.
let's just stay
Yeah, I wanna,
after we adjourn.
I wanna know what section everybody's gonna do, because I don't even know if I heard what
Oh.
I'm gonna do, because I don't care. I just wanna make sure everybody's got what they.
Yeah, okay, so here is some more
Those are
different
the
business
three.
things.
Those are the three. Have you already handed them out? Those are.
No, no, these are individuals who we need to call or write to make sure that they want to do what the governor has appointed them to do. Oh, so this person's in Bennington. I have a South Burlington and a Waterbury Center. Do you all know these people?
Who are they?
One is parole board and the other one is alternate member of the parole board.
Usually you do, Madam Chair, as we have them on, we do it, we just get them on there real fast, get them on Zoom and ask them, and that's what we do.
Oh,
That's
okay,
what
what
we've
I've
done.
done before is,
Yeah, we, especially the parole and parole board, it'd be very easy to do.
yeah, I like talking to the parole board people, which, what,
Parole board.
is that parole
Yeah.
board?
So you
Alright.
can just get them all
No,
three
I'm
on the
happy to
screen
do
and
that.
then,
Go ahead,
yeah,
like,
Yes,
get
please,
them all on there and then we can just,
probably on Thursday,
Thursday, yes, okay.
because we don't have anything for Thursday. Okay, good idea. Thank you, Senator Ingles.
yes,
Okay, on that note, we will adjourn.
okay.